Okay, good afternoon, everybody who's with us in our digital meeting today. Thanks for joining us for University of Leicester's Digital Open Day information session. My name is Dr. David Christopher, and I'm a lecturer in popular screen cultures here in the Department of Film Studies for the new School of Arts, Media and Communication. I'm going to share my screen now to bring up my wonderful PowerPoint presentation. And I wanted to use this session to give you present today an overview of the film studies courses that we offer here at the University of Leicester, what you should expect to be studying on these courses, and the support that is available to our students. Afterwards, we will hear from one of our top performing students, actually, with his thoughts on the program from the ground floor, so to speak. Joe Storkey is a third-year student who is going to share some of his experiences on the program so far. So please feel free to capture images of the slides if you see anything interesting that you might want to come back to. And also, please feel free to ask questions in the chat. And I would encourage you to do this throughout the presentation because what we've learned is that when everybody is given the last crunch time 5 minutes to put the questions into the chat, it becomes a little bit difficult to get through them all. So if you have a question, please feel free to throw it into the chat, and the agents will have a look at it as we move through, maybe even Joe. So let's start with the question, why study film at the University of Leicester? Well, firstly, we really have a diverse and internationalized curriculum. The faculty is comprised of people from different parts of the world, including myself, with expertise in specialist areas such as Hollywood, of course, Chinese film, British cinema, Canadian and European cinemas, as well as a host of other global screen cultures, which are becoming increasingly popular from otherwise marginalized traditions now. Our teaching is informed by research, so you'll be taught by top experts in the field, including Professor James Chapman in our department, a celebrated scholar in film studies. Secondly, we are a top-ranked UK university for film studies. We were ranked number 10 amongst the UK universities teaching film and media studies in one of the most recent Times University League tables. And thirdly, our courses offer a very interdisciplinary approach to studying film, in which you'll learn both about transnational screen cultures, as well as history and politics that comprise the environments in which film emerges. And finally, we have really, really good facilities and resources, including a fully equipped festival-grade film theater and a library with a wide catalog of film resources, including a huge DVD library. More importantly, I think our program has a very parsimonious and well-curated suite of modules that provide very unique learning experiences compared to most other institutions offering theoretical film studies programs. And I'll explain this in a bit more detail when I review the program offerings in a moment, which may take all the time that I have available to speak with you. So inarguably, the dominant storytelling mode of the last 125 years is cinema, the moving picture per se, on numerous types of screens. And narrative is not the only mode of cinema, but it is the predominant one, as we know, and this is why cinema is so culturally significant. Screens in the 21st century are largely where we learn our social skills, our morality, our normativity, our ideology, and all of those things that comprise a culture or a society. So learning to read cinema is a critically valuable skill. And nevertheless, many of our students still come without any film studies from their secondary school backgrounds. This is because film studies has not been a dominant option at A levels, but of course that's changing little by little. I believe most of you are interested in some aspect of film, but you might be wondering what it actually means to study film. So in our programs, we examine the historical, the cultural, theoretical, and artistic development of cinema around the world. And increasingly, we look at its globalization and the technologies that have driven the industry. You'll attend lectures and seminars weekly when we will introduce broader social or historical contexts. And in the seminars, we have smaller group discussions where we closely analyze important film examples. So aside from our standard single subject studies degree, we also offer joint degrees such as film and media studies or film and English. Film and media are quite closely intertwined and overlapping disciplines, but the key difference between them is actually their approach. So film studies is often considered more of a humanities subject. It's probably closest kin to literary studies, literary criticism. And media studies often draws on a social sciences or cultural studies approach, which tends to overlap a little bit more with sociology. But film studies is comprised of all of these. Film and English, of course, have this close kinship in their mutual concern with narrative and the differing forms used to create narratives. Excuse me, and all of our courses are structured as standard 3-year programs, but our students also have the option to study a year abroad at a European university, or if you choose to study on our film and media degree, you have the option to spend a semester abroad in the US or Canada or Australia. So our single subject film studies course offers full immersion in the study of films. The first year of the course is designed to provide a solid foundation in the subject. The emphasis is on studying classics, the canon, and other important films, as well as the key theoretical debates in film history. In semester 1, you'll take core modules such as Introduction to Film History, as well as reading film. And in semester 2, we start branching out towards modernist film examples that have challenged conventional styles, European new waves, and transnational cinemas. And you'll also have other modules that are geared towards building and solidifying particularly analytical skills, such as reading film or reading television. So in year 2 of the program, we offer a film production module, and this is one of the really unique things about University of Leicester. Most theoretical programs don't have a production module per se. In this module, with a group, you'll actually be expected to produce a film video using the technological affordances available here at the university. And I like to think of this as the sister module to first year reading film. So in reading film, you're learning the vocabulary and the critical skills to understand film from a reception perspective. And you know, if you were to take a course on poetry, for example, you know, you can read and learn everything about poetry, but you'll probably learn a little bit more if you try to write a poem, a sonnet or a romantic poem. And that's the logic. We're going to take all of this theory from the reading film module, and with the group, you will try and write a film in the production. I should note the program is not vocational per se. The purpose is not to train our students strictly as practical filmmakers. Practice is only one element of our film degrees, but it really helps in understanding. And it is, as I said, quite unique to our theoretical program. There's not a lot of programs that are offering practical skills on the level that we do. And this doesn't mean that you shouldn't aspire to become filmmakers. A lot of people that take a degree, of course, want to become filmmakers. Of course, you certainly should. But what we offer is a program that equips you with critical and analytical skills and a detailed knowledge and understanding of film in concert with a cross-section of technical filmmaking skills which are readily transferable for employability. And I'm hoping Joe will make some comment about that when it's his turn to speak. In addition, in your second year, you'll have a core module titled Film Reception and Consumption, for which you'll organize again as a whole class, in this case, a student-centered film festival. The First Frame Film Festival, which takes place in April, and last year's winners were actually spectacular. The festival itself was great. And the first year of the festival in 2022-23, so 2 years back now, had over 300 submissions, and that's improved a little bit, giving the students certainly a run for their money in terms of vetting all of those submissions and having to delegate the labor amongst themselves. The module offers an opportunity for our students to develop a range of transferable skills, again, but also encourages them to think about their own future career choices for festival curation, festival organization, and other such possible management level skills. In year 2, you also have a module where you learn about non-Western cinemas of the world. This slide shows a sample of some of the researching world cinemas. I have a sample outline of it from a couple of years ago, but it's a lot of that is still topical. And each week the module, you can see, explores a different topic from around the world. It changes a little bit. I'll be teaching Canadian cinema as a guest lecturer in this module this year, for example, which is not exactly non-Western, but it is certainly an underdog cinema. The only core module in your final year is the dissertation. where you work on a 10,000 word essay. I know that's frightening to a lot of people. That's not a lot of words, in fact, when you get into your own ideas. And that's what's great about it. You have a choice. Based on your experiences in the program to date, you'll be able to select your topic. And in that context, you will be assigned a one-to-one supervision with a member of staff based on their expertise or interest in your self-chosen dissertation topic. And we have a wide range of optional modules in the final year, which you can see on the screen now, I hope. And this is all, again, designed from the specific research areas of the faculty module leader in the department. So I've been doing a module called Star Wars: A Cultural History, for example, and I'm writing a book on certain aspects of Star Wars right now. And we also have a module on weird fiction and weird film, a joint English film favorite based on the research of those module conveners. Current final year options also include some of the modules on the slide here, but of course this changes depending on who's on faculty in any given year. Some of the recently published books by our staff demonstrate that certainly you're going to be taught by research active experts in the field. And again, this is an internationally diverse team of experts with particular research strengths in film history, as well as theory and a range, of course, of regional cinemas. So just to sort of whistle stop the combined programs, which I probably don't have a super amount of time to do, but Film and Media Studies is a combined degree program in which the students take half their credits from film studies, and of course the other half will be from media studies modules. And in your final year, you have a wide range of optional modules to choose from either film studies, of course, or media studies programs. And here you also have the option to choose either media studies or film studies topic for your dissertation, or of course you might choose a combined topic if your area of research aligns with both. In our Film Studies and English program, again, the students take half and half from each of those two discrete departments. And again, in your final year, you'll be able to tailor your own course according to your own interests from a selection of really interesting modules. Now, typically, our courses are taught through lectures and seminars, often with weekly screenings of the films that we discuss. And so one of the advantages, again, is this festival grade theater we have. If you're studying film from the 20th century, for example, before Web 2.0, before the rise of streaming, you were either watching a movie that had been pared down for a television, a tube television, or you were going to the theater, and generally on big screens. And these films were made with that experience in mind. And so one of the great ways to understand how a film was received in the late 20th century, even mid 20th century, is to be experiencing it in a theater. And another advantage is some of the experts on staff have, classic films. So in the Star Wars module, for example, I have one of the few remaining copies of the actual theatrical release of the 1977 original film. And so not only do you get to see the original film as it was released, but you get to see it in a theater. We also introduce like I said, broader social, cultural, institutional context into the discussion. And the maximum seminar group size is 15. Lectures can have larger groups, but the seminar group maximum is 15, and usually those are not more than 10, in fact. And assessment types include essays, presentations, creative work such as film and website design, film and book reviews, other group projects, a whole diverse range of assessment types in order to give a range of learning styles and production styles the possibility to be very successful. No exams in the program. The most recent data from the National Student Survey indicates that an overwhelming majority of our students have reported how the staff are good with lecture explanations, and that the staff actually value students' views and opinions. One of the things I like with the reading film module, for example, is during the seminars, it's literally a seminar in which at least half of the activities in which we engage have to do with student discussion, student feedback, and student perspective. So you have voice. And we're really proud of our excellence in research-led teaching and student support. Lim Fong, who's the head of the Film Studies program, for example, is a world-renowned scholar in Chinese film, and some of the scholarship from our other colleagues is just as valuable. Nevertheless, we're an intimate, we're a friendly department where everybody knows everybody. Our intakes are relatively small, our faculty is small, and we work hard to make sure that our students feel like they're part of a community. Some of the modules depend on community. The group work, for example, in production, the classwork in the festival module will make you feel very much like you are experiencing film culture in that it's always communal in its production. Leicester also has over 200 student societies you can get involved with, or you could even start your own society if you wanted with university support. We have a student magazine for which you can write film reviews and a module option in third year on teaching, writing film reviews, different types, including blogs and YouTube. And Film Society, which holds weekly events, screenings, and socials. And as I mentioned earlier, or I did not mention earlier, I'll mention now, this year also marks the inauguration of the annual festival of the new annual Festival of Media Stories. And students can get involved in this to improve their employability dossiers by either submitting to the competitions and the production module, the outputs from that go directly into the competition, or working as a volunteer in some capacity. A lot of students really enjoyed being on the judging teams. Last year we had, in the inaugural year that occurred in September, we had Vincenzo Natali join us for a virtual interview, and we had a number of other great industry colleagues join us to talk with the guests. At Leicester, helping get the most from your university experience and preparing you for your next steps is also an important part of what we have to offer. By providing advice and support when you need it, we aim to equip all of our students with the expertise and skills they need to become positive citizens of change. For a number of pro-social reasons. When it comes to career options, our students have gone on to a range of different employments, including film preservation, distribution and curating, teaching, and other creative aspects of the film and media industries, including television. Recent graduate destinations include Universal Pictures and Channel 4 and BBC Television in London. We were recently shortlisted for the Best University Employability Strategy Award. The Careers and Employability team offers comprehensive and targeted assistance to support you at each stage of planning and preparing for your post-graduation career. And our Central Careers Service provides different types of appointments, including career guidance from trained coaches to help you decide on your next steps, and appointments to support you with applications, personal statements, CVs, cover letters, interviews, and more. And that's actually integrated right into the film production module again, in which you'll have to do a bona fide career search. These appointments can take place in a number of ways. Online in the Career Hub, you can make one-on-one appointments. The range of digital services includes specialist AI tools such as CareerSet, which is an AI CV and cover letter checker. And rather than fighting against it, for example, we look at this AI CV creator in the production module to help students. This is how you use it to create your CV. As well as some other new digital tools. And you can expect a great range of employer events running throughout the year, including the flagship Festival of Careers. And again, of course, the Festival of Media Stories includes a marquee of kiosks from industry partners with the festival. One of the interesting things about what's offered by the Careers Center is that it's available to you for life. As alumna of the University of Leicester, the Career Center remains available to you well beyond you've graduated. You can contact and ask for an appointment if you're changing careers, if you're moving into new careers, all along your employment journey beyond the university. As well as challenging you to fulfill your academic potential, your research-inspired film studies degree will enable you to become aware of and build the skills that will make you an attractive position to prospect to many employers, critical analyses of key issues, etc. And we developed this list at the university based on feedback from employers in terms of the transferable skills they would suggest we make available to students in our degree programs if they were to be considered viable employment options. The Discover Uni website, on that website, you can find the detailed employability statistics and information on many of the careers that our students have gone on to experience success. For example, The most recent data shows that 95% of our film studies graduates went on to either further education or were employed within 15 months of finishing their degree. And 70% of the graduates were in highly skilled professions. So they managed to make good upward mobility use of their degrees. Part of our key offer is this career lifetime support after graduation that I've mentioned, after which you'll still be able to get one-on-one appointments, access the employer events, all of the affordances made available to students as during their degrees remain largely available. Other graduates move on to post-graduate studies. We're developing a new MA in Film Studies program to be launched in 2026. Some of our alumni also have moved on to doctoral studies at the department. Currently, 3 of our alumni who did their undergraduate and postgraduate degrees with us are now doing their PhDs on film subjects as well. We currently have a cohort of some 12 doctoral students, I think, studying in the department. And finally, we run a series of research seminar events where internal and external speakers come and talk about their research. And we encourage our undergraduate students to attend these for both scholarly and professional reasons. I'm almost out of time, so I'm just going to flash through the slides a little bit about our campus. Of course, it's close to the city. There was a £500 million investment into the campus, and they continue to do upgrades. There's all sorts of really valuable resources compared to many other institutions. And if you're from Leicester, you'll be aware there's a botanic garden out towards Oadby, which is always worth a stroll for either relaxation or interest. It's quite good. In the city, if you're not familiar with the city, the university itself is only a 15-minute walk. It's the most culturally diverse city in all of the UK by statistics. It has the biggest Diwali festival outside of India, and for the Festival of Media Stories to celebrate Diwali, even though it's indirect. The previous year I did Halloween. This year we did Diwali, and we looked at DDLJ, if anybody is familiar with classic Bollywood cinema. Coffees, clubs, and bars, very successful sports. There's food festivals occasionally, and of course there's other events held on campus to celebrate different festivals throughout the year. Our award-winning Students' Union hosts over 100 societies, numerous experiences-oriented volunteering opportunities, as well as offering counseling and welfare support and other ancillary supports that you might need in your journey as a student. So again, I'm not going to read through these slides now. I'm going to hand it over. There's other bits of data I would have liked to share with you, but of course I'm available for questions either in the question period after we hear from Joe or ever. I'll put my contact information up here. There's our reputation, and there are, of course, scholarships available, and there's my email address. I'm also the admissions tutor for the Film Studies department in the school, so for any number of reasons, I'm happy to entertain inquiries or emails at any time. So having not gone through everything I wanted to share with you, I think I've given a pretty good overview of the strengths of the department and the program and some of the affordances available here at the University of Leicester. And so I don't make things too breathless for everybody. I will call it there on my part, and I would very much now like to hand things over. I'll stop sharing this slide, so hope you took a picture of it if you wanted my email address, but it's easy to find. I'm easy to find. And I would like to hand things over now to third-year student Joe Storkey, our student ambassador.
Hi, David. Sorry, just to say, actually, we're having some tech issues getting Joe in. So if you have more time, effectively, if you need it.
well, now I've gone through my whole script. Oh, that's too bad, because Joe would have been great to hear from. All right, let me go back then, and I will fill you in on some of the details that I skipped over there, but I may have to do this the hard way. And you know, I've actually already talked about student supports, but maybe I can pause on student supports. Increasingly, a lot of students are very concerned about supports, especially if it's your first time away from home, but even if it's not, even if you've been away from home before, or Leicester is your hometown. It doesn't matter. These supports are really, really valuable to have available. And one of the things that University of Leicester offers is pastoral support in terms of your personal tutor, which you can see listed on the screen here. The personal tutor promise is that your assigned personal tutor will have a meeting with you at least electronically once a month. They'll make an effort to contact you. There are some more formal meetings, and the idea is, you should, the logic behind it that's been presented to me frequently is you should always have one faculty member who knows your name, which sounds a trite perhaps, but the fact of the matter is, for example, when I was studying at a very, very big institution in Toronto, it's quite clear that I was simply a number in a large crowd, and getting any sort of one-to-one time with a personal tutor or a module convener was largely unheard of. Even office hours were generally very difficult to get an appointment. And so these personal tutors become not only somebody with whom you can have interpersonal support, but just as importantly, they are available to be a roadmap to these other supports. If you feel you're needing some mental health support, if you feel you're needing some social support, if you feel you're needing some academic support, they can definitely point you in the right direction. And another really great institution we have at the university is the Academic Success Center. It's had different names over the years, the Writing Center. And frequently I find that students who take the time to make use of the service are quite astonished at the improvement in the quality of not only their writing, but their more objective efforts to get higher grades. And then I just flashed through these. The accommodation for first year, for example, we do have a guaranteed accommodation for all first year students, which is £69 a week. All bills included, and from those residences there is a free shuttle bus. So your transportation is taken care of as well. That's the first year accommodation guarantee. But beyond that first year guarantee, there's a range of types of accommodation, which you can see on the screen here now: ensuite studios, shared living. There are accessible rooms, free events in the halls every week. There's many social opportunities. There's a very, very popular pub just over Victoria Park that the students keep telling me is worth its weight in gold. But we also have on campus, on the new campus, just down the road from us, there's a great new Freeman's Commons, I think it's called, and it has evening service and pool tables, as well as lunch service during the day. There are two sports centers, one out in Odeby, one right here on campus, the Daniel Brown Sports Center, with full pools, full gyms, and classes available to you. And your membership in one is good at both. And of course, transportation in the city of Leicester is generally very good. And the city center is not so far away, and the university is a tight community that generally you can just walk and get everywhere you need. Here again, we have reputational statistics, which I think are the latest. I think I have the updated slide. I hope I'm not going to be accused by my superiors for having not provided the right information. But as you can see, some of the very highest rankings in the world, including University of the Year for, I can't remember for which institution, I think it was for Times Higher Education, but I might be wrong about that. But as you can see, we're rated gold overall in the 2023 Teaching Excellence Framework, and still I think, oh, there it is, Daily Mail University of the Year for 2025, and we were shortlisted for University of the Year by Times Higher Education. So really, really strong reputational statistics to underpin the more material and practical examples of faculty and award-winning teaching that I hope have given you some idea about in my presentation today. It would have been much better to hear from Joe. I am heartbroken that we won't have his voice. Unfortunately, maybe he's added some things to the chat. Joe is both an excellent student and I think a worthy ambassador who would have been able to give perhaps a much more bird's eye view of the program from his perspective as a student, We can all be remiss together in Joe's absence, but I'm sure he would be just as happy to entertain email inquiries from people who would perhaps like to talk to a student ambassador about their experience rather than a faculty like myself. So Kieran, I don't have anything else. I don't have anything else. I'll put my contact information back up on the screen for everyone to have a look at. And again, I'll be happy to entertain any questions. I can't see the chat, so you know what? I will stop sharing again so I can see the chat. And Kieran, I'll ask you if maybe you can send some questions my way if there have been any. So I'm going to call it there. I'm gonna slip out because unless there's something in the chat.
No, there isn't. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks,
well, thank you very much to everybody who joined us today. And again, questions at your leisure, feel free to give me an email.